Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm Thomas Le Hoang, and you're listening to the TL podcast, where knowledge is shared and no one takes themselves too seriously. Hi boys, how you going?
Yeah, good man.
Good afternoon.
All right, so what are we starting with this week?
Oh, we were meant to start at 4 o'clock. That's what we were meant to start with.
I told
Good
you
evening,
this,
gentlemen.
This mate is really our mate.
Traffic was bad, mate. Traffic was bad, unfortunately. Our apologies for keeping you waiting, son.
Don't do it again. How is everybody?
Excellent. How you
Awesome,
doing?
mate, awesome.
Very good. Celebrity pick this week, so it's not my fault.
What is celebrity pick?
Well, I went to my usual bottle shop and I took a bottle of wine to the counter and she said, no, don't get that one, get this one. And it was hot and it was sticky and it was sweaty. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think we've ever done a rosé on here before. So
There's probably a reason for that.
there's probably a reason for that. But I thought, of course you were going to bring an excellent wine, Chris. You always do. So I thought there's no point me even trying to compete. So I bought a rosé. I thought it might refresh us, but the first one I took to the counter got denied by the lady behind the counter, and she said, get this one instead. And I said, you realise that this is going on a podcast that 6 million people watch every hour, and if you get this wrong, your name's going to be mud.
Named and changed.
So local liquor at Barrera, if you're listening. It's a Wildflower. Interesting label. I like the label. It's a rosé from Western Australia. It's a 2020 Wildflower rosé.
Yeah,
So
it looks a little bit like that non-alcoholic wine that you bought.
there was
It's not that, is it?
No, it's
Okay.
not that. No, there's definitely alcohol in it. I thought
Right.
that'd be light alcohol, but it's not. It's
Okay, well, let's have a look.
13%. So let's do it.
Wildflower, here we come. Come on. Gee, how was the week? Last 2 weeks? Crazy, huh?
Yeah,
Wet.
big week.
My goodness.
Thoughts out to anyone affected by the floods, obviously, at the start.
I share their feelings.
I live on top of a mountain, so I didn't get affected, but some of us have got indoor swimming pools now, too.
Yeah. We play billiard. We call it billiard pool. All right.
He's taking the pool room to a whole other level. It's actually a pool.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other
Poured
day.
way too much in there.
She said
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
the parents of her son's soccer team was calling up to see if soccer training had been cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, she couldn't believe them that they thought, some of the parents still thought that training was on. So I said to her, just tell them that water polo team is starting up. Then you're right to go. So.
God, everyone's got every kind of jokes for the moment. That's good.
It's meant to be dry, not sweet.
That's
It's
nice.
definitely dry.
Yeah, that's dry. It's nice.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's okay.
I think she was pushing the sale. No one else buying. I reckon.
Too much stock.
Yeah.
Hey, take it up with. It was not my fault.
So how much is a bottle like that?
I think it was about $20.
Yeah. Well.
And I took
you get
more
3 from
expensive
that
bottles
price?
up. Mate, listen, don't do all that. Hey, it wasn't me. It's not bad.
Now, if it was good, would it have been you?
Yeah. You're disappointing.
No.
You're disappointing me now.
That's a good start. Why am I disappointing?
Um, Actually, it's not bad.
It's not that bad. But you drink a lot more rosé than me.
Yeah.
It's normally French, isn't it?
Yeah. I only have the Provence one.
They don't have any French rosé in that bottle shop. So I looked for it.
Okay.
I nearly got a pink Pinot Grigio. You ever had a pink Pinot Grigio before?
Yeah, it's called Prosecco.
I didn't know that. There you go.
Is it really?
No.
I was going to say. That doesn't work out, mate. Prosecco's
So I might
bubbly.
have to save that for next time. So don't get. Oh, I'm on the big bottle the next time. Don't
Yeah,
get your
you're on
hopes
the
up.
All right. So back to the Stoic. Month of May. How good was this month? I like this month.
You like this month? I was wondering because you weren't happy with April. So
Yeah. Well, at least I say what I think. You say what's popular.
This month, there's
I'm
some
all
points.
about doing what's popular, mate.
There's some points in there this month were fantastic, and there's some I just thought,
Yeah.
But, it was a better month
Well,
than
let's
last month.
start. Let's start with the first day, May the
Absolutely.
1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make character your loudest statement. Well, it's whatever it says there, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so easy to say, so hard to do. I think that our agenda sometimes, the pressure, the deadlines, the things that we've been put under pressure to achieve. I think that those things really sometimes get us to violate our values and really go for a much weaker side of our character.
Yep.
I think, what it's saying on page 1 is, doesn't matter what uniform you wear, you'll always be brought undone by your character because it'll always shine through. And it says that you can't recognise, true Stoics don't need a uniform, they're recognisable only by their character. Yeah. And I think that's every human is, you might fool someone for a little while.
Yeah.
You might fool people for a long while,
Yeah.
but in the end, character's always going to come
But
through.
here's the thing, I want to discuss that. Then if it is so, why is it that so many people don't really care about it and just go on a rampage of fooling people and believing it's okay?
Because they think their uniform's bright and shiny enough that no one will see through it.
Right.
We all kid ourselves. I think we all, and I say we all, it's very general, not pointing fingers at anyone, but we all like to think our facade holds up. We all like to think that the masks we put on sometimes are impenetrable, and some people just take it a bit further than others and for a lot longer than others.
Those people do it without, they don't think they're going to get caught or found out. And they sometimes may come from a culture like that. Their upbringing may be that.
Yeah.
If they've seen their parents, buy something and then return it because they've used it once and then they want their money back, then that culture start to be bred.
Yeah, no, well, I can't believe that happened, but that has happened because my wife's bought dresses that we know has been worn before.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's crazy stuff,
I think on a really basic level for us as real estate agents, I think it's do what you say you will do for your customers, and that is your basis. I think.
Well, not necessarily, because a lot of the time what they say is full of shit.
I understand, but for those of us who want to hold an honest, transparent relationship with our vendors, do what you say you're going to do. If I say I'm going to call you 3 times a week, call them 3 times a week.
Yeah, but it goes way more than that. I think we've said it before. The staff that works for people like that, they're in danger. They're in trouble. I mean, would you work for a guy who's a liar? If your leader, for example, does a deal with another leader that, I'm going to leave your area alone, you leave my area alone, and then afterwards send you into the area to pillage the area. Really? Do you want to work for a dude like this? What do you reckon he's going to do when you're going to fall out of favor with him?
Yeah.
And I think not only he's going to fall by his sword, but at the end of the day, he's also going to have to understand that the culture he's sipping down, his people are going to do it to others, but really in the end, his people better be careful because that's how he's going to deal with them.
Yeah.
The title for me is Right Action. The whole month is based around just do the right thing. They're both very key words, right and action. You have to actually take action, which is day number 2.
Yeah, but I think we need to do the right thing, and we were discussing a bit earlier. We need to do the right thing and do it right. I think that you need to do both ways. And
I think we did a podcast on before. Do
and,
the right
and a
thing
lot of
right,
and a
not the
lot
right
of
thing
people
wrong.
try to go, it's okay if it's not done right. Or it's no, you have to aim for both of them. What about May the 2nd, boys?
Yeah, so I've underlined 3 times the word be. The quote from the book is, be the person you want to be.
Yep.
Our perceptions and principles guide us in the selection of what we want, and ultimately our actions determine whether we get there or not. It is not enough to wish and hope. One must act and act right. The whole theme again of the month is actually
Right action.
Yeah, but taking action, an action. So be the person you want to be. Don't wish to be a person. Actually start doing something about being that person. And I thought after the first day and the second day we could pretty much close the book, because with those 2 things you could live a lot more fulfilled life. Too many people sit there with wants and I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and they have the same wants 5 years later and they haven't done a fucking thing to get towards it. So,
But I think that where it goes even further, we touched on that last time, is a lot of people, they do that bit that I spoke about with Mark Kentwell. He shared that with me. And he's the one, real estate agent, top performers up north in Newcastle. And he said, a lot of people, what they do is they have, do, be, or be, do, have, right? Where really should be, right? Be, have, do,
Yep.
So not many people start with knowing what is it they want. And the problem is that a lot of people, they don't really know that, but They only know what they don't want. It's a funny thing. If you know what you don't want, it's one thing, but that doesn't lead you where you want to go. I mean, I can tell my GPS, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. My GPS is going to say at one stage, where do you want to go, man? Yeah. And I think it's important that you really take the time to know who you are, what is it you're made of. Then you can start doing things. Then you will have what you deserve, right? Not the other way around. Yeah. You can't go, even in real estate, you can't say, well, I want to be a business owner one day. And when I'll be a business owner, I'll have a car, I'll have a nice house, then I will be happy. I will feel successful. No, you're going to have to do the other way around. That's what it means to me.
Yeah, you can't be the person you want to be unless you know who that person is too. Which I think you're just saying something very similar. You have to take time. What sort of person do you want to be? And then you can be that person. Otherwise, you're taking actions based on, I might want to be this and I might want to be that and I might want to be... But, start by wanting to be a good person and do the right thing. That's a bloody good start.
Yeah.
We all fuck up on that level too. We all stuff up all the time. But you got to start somewhere and start being that. I'm on day 3 as well. I started writing down every day of the book and I thought, we're in trouble here. But very important one, show, not tell what you know. There's a lot of people talking and a lot of people probably have a crack at us because we do a lot of talking on this podcast, but it's not about the words, it's about your actions and actually show me the results. Don't tell me how good you are, show me how good you are. And that relates a lot to real estate and a lot to our staff and a lot to business owners and a lot to everything we do. There's a lot of people with a lot of talking a lot of things and telling a lot of people what to do and telling a lot of people how good they are, but it's all very empty at the end. And it's the same with day one. Eventually your character shows through. Well, eventually your lack of actual backing up your words is going to show through.
There's an old saying that, I'll take it more so with the family, kids often don't hear what we tell them because they're too busy watching what we do.
Yeah.
And I think that line's very good for that one, is that the kids, we need to be the example for people we want to lead. And I think Gandhi said, if you want to see change in the world, start with yourself.
Be the change you want to see in the world, yeah.
And it breaks off into another part, which I think sort of relates to something TL's been trying to drum into us a lot lately. It says on that page, turn words into works. And you were very heavy on that in the last few seminars, particularly leadership in the Hunter Valley, where you said, do not go back to your office and try and do any of this until you've
sat in it. That's very true. I thought of that exactly when I was reading this at the same time, yeah.
You sat in it for a while. You don't do it immediately, but eventually you have to turn the words and the shit you're reading as well.
Digest it and then start to teach, yeah. Absolutely.
So I had that note there.
I think that comes through in a couple of other pages further on as well.
Yeah. So why is it important, TL, then, that you don't just read a page in a book and then jump straight on the phone and try and enact what you've just read without sitting in it for a while and digesting it? What's the harm that can be done there?
No, I don't think there's any harm. I mean, if you've got no brain, I think it is worthwhile doing it straight away because you might forget. And listen, there's people who live actually on what I call 3-minute soup. Whatever they read lately, whatever they learn lately is what they become, right? You give them 2 or 3 days, they've forgotten that material, therefore they no longer that material. They have to have new material. And if they don't have that new material, they go back to themselves. I think you're going to have to go to May the 5th to really understand we are the project. We can't, even if we've read stuff, we can't believe that we'll get it right the first time. You're going to have to go out there and try it again and do it again. And I was having a chat with Chris and I said, even the guy who came second to Usain Bolt, it's not coming second to Usain Bolt all the time. You imagine you do 100 races to Usain Bolt, you will come second 100 times. But what is it that will make that guy satisfied, happy within himself, or unhappy? And to me, the only gauge is, have you done better against yourself? Have you done better than what you could do? Have you done your best? Have it give you your best? And I think that's the key we need to understand with the action is, yes, let's accept that we're a project. What it means by project is there could be mistakes, there could be error. So what? Just start with a new canvas.
You have to start building somewhere.
You have, and stop,
it doesn't matter
stop
where you're
waiting
at.
until you're perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you're at. I trained my team on this the other day, yesterday. I said every one of us here is different and everyone has a different starting point. and accept where you're starting and just start.
Yep.
Just start. It doesn't matter whether you're the first brick or the house is already half built, the foundation's already half laid, or you haven't even turned soil yet. You have to start somewhere, and everyone did. You know, we watched a video. I won't steal your thunder because I know you want to talk about that guy at some point in our podcast, but we watched a video yesterday, and his point was just start.
On who?
Goggins.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd written 4 pages of notes on May, and then I put that video on for the staff, and he pretty much read out every point that I've written in the book. It was
perfect.
Uncanny how his message correlates to May, and he's about action, that dude. And
You're trying to say you're better than Goggin.
No. I'm saying the
No,
Stokes. I'm saying
trying to read it.
He's one of the most inspirational people of the time, and now that a lot of people look to, but the Stoics wrote it how long ago?
Yeah.
But to look at him, you would say he's a Stoic.
His philosophy is May. His whole philosophy is May in that book, pretty much, word for word. And
Those who didn't pick it up, the guy's name's David Goggins, if you want to look him up. Well worth looking up, but anyway.
And then I thought number 6 was...
May the 6th?
Yeah.
Yep.
A beautiful passage about, and it uses the word beauty in there, but you know, what defines beauty? Righteousness is the true beauty. You can have all the stuff in the world. You can talk, like in... number 3, you can talk all you want in the world, but the real beauty in life is actually being a good person and doing the right thing at the right times and the right way. And I think more people need to understand that. I sat in a space last week, and there's a bunch of people in this office that wasn't mine, and for 45 minutes all I heard was, I've done this and I've done that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And if they could just read this passage and understand that it doesn't matter. I mean, it's great to be able to do this and be able to do that. And there was 5 people carrying on like that, and then one dude sitting in the corner not saying a word. And I said, I'll just talk to you if that's all right, because no one can talk to me here about anything other than real estate and how good they are. Being a good person is the most important thing. And if you're going to achieve all that but you're going to do it the wrong way, or that's your uniform that you put on from point number 1, it doesn't mean shit if you're not a good person.
If you're going to get from point A to point B and leaving bodies behind you, what's the
I'm
journey
not saying
worth?
anyone's leaving bodies behind them, but that's the uniform that they're wearing.
Yeah.
How about a bit of focus on
Yeah, and I think that then the following few pages up until May the 11th, I think they're all repeating those kind of thing, and they're stressing the point that you just have to take the right actions, you know?
Number 7, if you want to have a good day, do good things. It's
Well,
hand in hand.
it's all the
Absolutely.
same.
Yep.
And then I got to number 11 as well.
Yeah. So what did you see in the number 11? On the third line, what was the word that really hit you after you read it? I mean, if you read it.
Mate, I've written one, two.
Do you remember him doing that to us?
I've written 6 words.
Second syllable sounds like.
I've written 6 words for number 11, which is you have to sleep at night.
Oh, I like that. That is a nice line.
And I'm not going to get the book out because you've got it in front of you, but to me that means the passage was all about remember that everything you do that isn't the right thing is going to catch up with you, and that if you go to bed with that on your mind, you have to be able to sleep at night. It's a line I use in listing appointments.
But here's a question, Cam. Some people, they have no empathy because it's in their genetics, right? They are born to rip people off and not feel bad about it, even if they're going to call one by one everyone to explain, why they're doing certain things and how they're going to say goodbye. So they got in their genetics that they're going to rip people off as they say goodbye and they wish you the best. They started already ripping you off. So I'm going to ask you, what do you do with those people who don't have a sense of guilt?
I don't know what you do with them, but I think deep down, even if they have no empathy for other people, they have a sense of guilt because your body knows. You know.
It'll catch up with them,
your subconscious knows. You don't not sleep at night because you're worried about other people, or that's not the empathetic thing. That's your inner judge. That's a thing inside you that knows that you're full of shit, or that knows that you've lied to that person, or knows, and that's the thing that wakes you up at night. You look at some people who massive health issues and having trouble sleeping and always in fights with people and all that sort of stuff, and you go, man, you got to sleep at night.
But I think some of those people still don't realise it. I still think they believe they are the righteous side.
No, that's their uniform again. But and I think we've done a whole podcast on this before, and it was whether do the right thing the right way, not do the right thing the wrong way. And as you know, the difference between right and wrong. We all know the difference between right and wrong. Even I'm a big fan of true crime and stuff on Nat Geographic and the CI channel where they're tracking serial killers and all that stuff. Even as psychopathic as they were, they knew they were doing something wrong. They were killing people and eating.
I remember the podcast was about doing the right thing versus doing things right.
Yeah. Something like that, and we touched on this, and
you were defending the wrong side. I remember that. Ken.
I'm always wrong. Hey, but at least I can sleep at night. Thank you, Still Knocks.
That's not what you told me the other day. Like waking up at 2 in the morning and
just thinking about all the good stuff I've done that day.
Waking up your wife at 1 or 2 in the morning to talk about what is it again?
Opals, mate.
Opals, the Opals price gone up. His wife been sleeping.
Crystal was asleep at 2 in the morning. I was all jacked up on the steroids I'm taking for my eczema, and I watched our Opal show, and I had some news to tell her, so I told her at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Did she hit you or throw anything at you? Or?
Mate, she can't fight with me.
I don't think
I'm an athlete. Duck and weave, mate.
She didn't get a message. What he meant for is wake up, start digging.
So what was the line you got at 11? I've summed it up in 6 words.
No, as I told you about the guilt.
Yeah.
Some people don't know it. Then what do you say to them? But really, in the end, that's still my question. Do people sometimes really know the guilt? I don't know. We'll see. May the 12th. I like that. I like that one.
God, this is always the right response.
And it's something that anyone who knows me knows it's something I've struggled with all the time.
Are you competing with me now, are you?
Well, to respond with kindness is very, very hard in a lot of situations. I feel when someone attacks you or someone's done wrong by you, what it's saying at 12 is just always respond with kindness and you'll win. I've written here hard work and hidden players, because if one of my hidden players is aggression. So when I feel threatened or feel attacked or feel like someone's done wrong, that's usually the first place I go. So it can be bloody hard. And responding with kindness is depending on your makeup. I think it's hard for everyone, even with if aggression isn't one of your hid players. If inferiority or insecurity, you might, instead of responding with kindness, back off, retreat. That's not responding with kindness either. But
I actually was reminded of a line that I learned long ago, but somehow I had forgotten. So I just put it on the my home screen now on my phone. And the line was that people will not remember necessarily what you say, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel, you know? And so sometimes you're just going to have to really see the difference between being right or being nice.
Yeah.
And there was some studies that's been done where they were asking people, how come someone has got so much say to another person versus another person telling the truth and not being believed? And so there were 2 factors that they were really looking at. So if I was to ask you boys, what is more important for you, being perceived as someone competent or being likable, being nice?
Competent.
See, we all do that, which is the right response. The right response is that we all want that. And yet, you know that when other people are doing that to us, we want the opposite from them. We want them first to be likable, right? Because if they're not likable, we don't care whether they're competent or not. We will not stay. We will not hang around a guy who's competent, but we don't like.
Yep.
This is the amazing thing, is that what we want, we actually portray the opposite to the world. And this is the bit, is that in the end, we need to remember the power of likability. When people like you, they trust you. Then you can start selling.
Dale Carnegie, in one of his books, I can't remember which one, he said, everyone loses in an argument. There's no winners in an argument. And the second one was a story he told at a dinner party when he spoke to a lady about her travels, and she did all the talking. But at the end of it, she thought he was the absolute best conversationalist that she's ever met. But he did none of the talking, just a lot of listening.
Yeah.
So he was likable. She liked him because he paid more attention in her than he wanted to speak about his own things.
Something I fight against every day. I had today in a listing appointment, I got hit with the styling again, and mate, you're glad I pretended to
chop the pillows, mate. Chop the pillows.
Fluffing of the pillows. It was.
Don't say you pretend.
No, where you put your pillow on your couch is very important. You're right. But what if we could get your money without putting that pillow there?
Did you sign it?
100% right.
Do we sign
It's a
it?
conversation for later, mate.
Okay.
But,
Maybe that second line you didn't have to say, because whatever people say, it's true for them.
that's the example I'm using. That's how hard I have to fight every day.
No, we just put the stylist in, man. I mean,
No, it wasn't about stopping that. It was just the response. We're talking about whether you want to be competent or likable. I don't spend enough time trying to be likable. I just want everyone to know I'm competent. It's something I battle with constantly. And
especially
pointless
when,
because
especially
I'm
when
that
you're not competent.
I'm not competent.
So
So,
I was going to go not likable.
not likable, yeah.
so
We love him, though.
I've
We
stuffed
love
them
him.
both up. So,
No, we love him because we've got empathy. we are the RSPCA of.
so let me ask you this then, and
mate.
we're talking about pillows, which isn't something important, but we're in sales, right? So very easy to be likable when you tell someone the house is worth 500 grand more than it's actually worth.
Right.
Where does the need for likability and the need for honesty? Where's that line? That because I could easily go in and tell every owner everything they want to hear, and
Absolutely.
whatever. There's a part of me that just refuses, and it's cost me a lot of money over time. It has cost me a lot of money, and there are a lot of.
Let me tell one thing. You're making a mistake. Likability has nothing to do with honesty. You can be brutally honest, you can be rudely honest, or you can be nicely honest. The problem is not there. The issue is, first, unless you're likable, being honest doesn't serve a purpose. Right? So a lot of people, they use honesty. The way that you use the term honesty and telling them I don't know, but it's only me feeling it, that being competent was more important. And you are putting honesty to competency. And that's what we're talking about. People are not interested in that. They want likability first. All right?
I've got day 14. Does
Yeah. Keep going, man. Keep going.
So you touched on that earlier, TL, where the order of things and thinking we're going to get stuff is going to make us happy. But don't let your happiness be determined by things you can't control. And it's something that we all think, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I don't get this, I won't be happy. And it's another thing you've been big on lately, which is be happy first, and the rest of the stuff will come.
It's a bonus. It's a bonus.
I've got a note here to read the last paragraph, so I better find it and read the last paragraph. Hang on.
Would you like us to read? Because we studied the entire 30 days for you.
Our ambition should not be to win, then, but to play with our full effort. Our intention is not to be thanked or recognised, but to help and to do what we think is right. Our focus is not on what happens to us, but how we respond. In this, we will always find contentment and resilience. Right, and I thought, we go into things thinking we have to win instead of just, I'm going to go and give it my best shot. And it ties into a lot of the rest of the month as well. But be happy that you've given it the best shot.
Yep.
And I thought that was important. Did anyone else have
You're
a different
always
take on
happy
it?
when you give your best shot. I tell my girls all the time, I don't care whether you win in tennis. If you haven't played your game and your best, you'll always be unhappy, win or lose. What else have we got? I mean, I thought that
I had
15. Okay,
Yeah, 15. I really liked 15. I think a lot of us miss the fact that we have more than what we need, but we still don't have enough of what we want.
Yeah.
I think we all need to stop and just realise that we have everything we need.
Yeah.
We're in one of the richest countries in the world, regardless of your situation. I know there's people out there hurting, but,
Yeah, but Chris, do you think that we live in a world of sales and salespeople measure themselves on what they have?
No, unfortunately they're not. But that's society. That's a society. We had this conversation recently.
Yeah.
That's society.
The thing is this: if I have $60,000 for the month and you have 65, you're better than me. And I mean, maybe not in 1 month, but after 6 months of being 65 versus me at 60, you will now feel better than me. And for some reason, I will feel lesser than you.
And then I may have a better family life at home. You may have more money in the bank, and I may have a better family life at home. But then people have to realise what is truly important. Count your blessings. What are you truly thankful for? Look around. Just take stock of what you've got at that time.
Yeah, I like it.
So day 16 I thought was good only because it's one of the rare times throughout this whole book he gives you something really tangible that you can start doing
I never thought of
on
that.
the
That's
spot
true, actually. Yeah.
to meet some of this criteria. So it talks about the chain method, but basically what he's saying is pick something, anything. In this passage he's using anger, and I've written here, been there, doing it now. the 30-day method, and I know Thomas had a crack at this last year, but for me, go day by day without yelling at the kids. I was trying to chain 30 days together without yelling at the kids. Now I don't yell at the kids at all, but I think there's something really tangible in that for anyone, no matter what they're trying to change, is just do it one day at a time. And it says mark on a calendar each day that you don't do whatever it is, or you do whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And it's actually something people could use.
Absolutely, mate.
Maybe you should not say that on the podcast, because if your kid hears this, I know Isaac, he's gonna push the button, and then you're gonna
try.
Then he's gonna scream, and you're gonna scream, and you lost. There are things we don't say, mate. They're gonna use it against us. Right? There are things I will not divulge. That's it. All right. What else have we got, boys?
I didn't have anything all the way up
I had
to
20th. I got 17, which is never stop learning and never think you're done. Never think you actually know something. It might seem like logic, but it's the title of the page is "The Stoic is a work in progress." It's not about just because you're a professional tennis player doesn't mean you stop getting tennis lessons. It's not about thinking. You can never think that you know too much or you know enough. And it's being okay with the fact that you're still learning, I think, is part of that passage as well. It's okay that you don't know everything. And back to the competency thing, so many people trying to prove they're competent, but they reach a certain level. I thought I had it all sorted at 30. I thought I had it all sorted at 31, and then I thought I had it all sorted at 32.
I'm almost 50 and now I don't have it all sorted. So
it's a double-edged sword, that, because when people think, shit, I'm never going to know everything, they don't try to begin with. They don't start learning. If you've never stopped learning, that sounds like, if you tell someone, oh, look, you're never going to stop learning and you're never going to know enough, all of a sudden they go, oh, shit, why bother starting in the first place?
Yeah, that's good.
And we've touched on that in the podcast before with philosophy and reading. It sounds like reading a whole book to some people is hard work. So instead of reading one page at a time, they won't read it all.
Why disappoint themselves?
Yeah.
Why should they disappoint themselves? So, if you start the book, you're now on the road to disappointment. If you don't read the book, there is nothing starting.
Why do I start to learn if I'm never going to be finished? What's the point?
Yeah.
Because there's no end game.
Right.
And I think people need to get over that bit and just back to the 30-day thing. Just start one day at a time. Create a habit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Number 18, I had 18 only for the simple fact, back to the uniforms that people wear and the people that think they're fooling people. I think it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. And a lot of people get fooled by people thinking, oh, if this person's gossiping to me or if this person's bagging me out to somebody, they won't do it about me to anyone else. I've got news for you. If they're doing, if you've got a messy desk at work, there's a very good chance you've got a messy bedroom at home. It doesn't have to be just in the serious and the negative, but people have got to realise that how someone acts with you is a very good chance how they act when you're not around as well. So.
Yeah. 19 straight into 20, it says learn, practice, train. Well, we speak about training ourselves and practicing, but in 20 it goes quality over quantity. I think that goes hand in hand with absolutely on 19. Quality training, not just training, but some training is better than no training. But if you're going to train hard, train well. And then on 20, going into 20 a little bit deeper, comes back to what you were saying about books and so forth, or starting and not stopping. I always thought these people, setting goals to read, 5 books a month and so forth.
Yeah.
But how much are they actually retaining?
How much are they actually applying?
Right. Instead of trying to read 12 books every month, how about you read one book for the 12 months and really understand that book and get everything out of it? Because in this room, I don't know how many books we've read combined, but if we had really sat down and just picked one of those books, and we're going
Thomas read all of them.
We're going through number 3 now.
No. I said I didn't read any. No, I saw the last 3 pages a bit different. Number 1, I saw when you learn and practice and train, Marcus Aurelius was keeping journals and journals of meditation, not to sell it to the world, not to give it to the world, but it was for himself.
Yeah.
And I think that you need to do it just for that sake, to better yourself. I like in May 21st for me is that the word unbruised prosperity is weak. Yeah. If you're going to become rich, if you're going to prosper, but you haven't worked hard for it, if you didn't really apply to get there, to him it's weak. It's weak to what? To character. It's not weak to your wallet, sure. But somehow, big wallet with weak character, it never leads to anything good in the long term.
Being born into wealth is often not as good as being making that wealth yourself.
No, it's not necessarily.
Not all the time.
Right? But for a Stoic, prosperity has to come through hard work, hard labor.
I said this to my team yesterday as part of the training because it's something that Goggins touched on and the book touched on. Anyone with enough savings and enough whatever can eventually buy a big house with a pool and a nice car. But are you going to be sitting there at 50 years old feeling like you earned it? Or are you going to be sitting there at 50 years old and feel empty about it because you didn't really have to work and get it?
Yeah, good point, mate.
Page 21, it talks about how the Stoics built resilience, the quality or the value of resilience by constantly putting themselves in situations that they weren't comfortable in. And it got me thinking about people who spend most of their life running, and I use the term bruises, and on the script talks about boxing. When you box, you're going to get punched in the face and you're going to get a black eye. But from that, you learn how to not get hit the same way again and how to counteract that and how to deal with that situation. And I've written here, if you keep running from bruises, eventually, no matter how fast you run, something is going to catch you and leave a mark. It doesn't matter how good you are at avoiding bad situations, eventually something's going to sneak up behind you and punch you in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And if you've spent your whole life running from stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable or creates those bruises, when it does catch you, you're going to have no idea how to deal with it. You're going to have no idea how to react from it. And you're going to have no idea how to heal.
Bounce back from it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in my life that I wish I could have avoided, but I didn't. And because I didn't, it's much easier now for me to get punched in the face. That's on a deep level and with some reasonably hairy situations, but on a simple level, people who won't take a job because they're scared of what's going to come next, or people who won't seize an opportunity because they're scared of what the ramifications might be. And I don't care how far, I don't care if you're Usain Bolt. At some point, Usain Bolt's going to get punched in the face by something. Right? And what story are we writing for ourselves? Again, back to 50. Are you going to be 50 years old and sitting at home never having been bruised? What happens when there's a global pandemic? Or what happens when there's a flood? Or what happens when there's a fire? What happens when all the toilet paper's gone from the store? Then you're stuffed because you've spent your whole life running instead of...
And those bumps and scrapes builds resilience along the way and it helps you build a resilient character.
There's a reason, mate.
Absolutely.
There's a reason the people we talk about and the guy we're going to talk about next and everyone we've spoken about on this podcast and just about every athlete that you see on TV, there's a reason they're there, and there's a reason why most of them have had a rough childhood or a story to tell where something's gone on in their life, because those horrible things that they've been through have built the resilience and the character and the courage you need to actually be successful in life, like to be really successful in life. You can't achieve anything without occasionally tripping over your shoelaces. You just can't. And I think it's an important lesson, especially for younger people coming up. And probably that's not fair either. There's still middle-aged people who their fear of failure or their fear of getting a black eye stops them doing anything. We talked at the start about be who you want to be. There's a lot of people who won't ever be who they want to be because they're running from copping a black eye. Just get punched in the face once. And at the end of it, when you're still breathing and you still got your arms and legs, all of a sudden you go, oh, I won't get that punch again, but that wasn't so bad.
So like Thomas says, don't die with your song still inside you, right?
Yeah, it is that. I think
it leads well into the next day, and then May 22nd, today is the day. It says, don't complain about the lack of time, about the action that you're taking within that time that you have. Take action, grab that time and use it as best you can. There's a great analogy somewhere. If you had so many seconds in your bank account and dollars in your bank, someone took it out, you'd be upset. Don't let people steal your time, but don't let yourself waste time as well. Take that opportunity, grab it with both hands, like you're saying, Cam, and do something.
Write your own story.
Yep.
Write your story. It's the analogy I used yesterday was, guys, what story are you going to be telling? And I used the age 50 because I was talking to 20-year-olds. Right, so to you guys, I need to use the age 80 or something that's a bit closer to where you're at. But what story are you writing?
He has to use age against us because he doesn't have the intelligence.
And May 23rd is my birthday, and I love the one for my birthday, and it talks about that. I've just
so now 6 million people in Australia know it's Cam's birthday on the 23rd of May.
Thank you. But I've just written "Live, baby, live." Right, long empty life versus short full life. That's how I've summed up that entire day. And it's, again, I've said it 3 or 4 times now, something that TL's been touching on lately. Life isn't too short if you live it the right way. What is your story going to be when in the 10 years from now, I don't care how old you are, what's your story going to be and how much of it have you written versus letting other people write it for you?
What's the saying?
No. How much have you lived right? This is important to me.
Yeah.
How much of it have we done the right thing in life?
What's the saying that you say?
Scheming and doing things behind people's back, and mate, that's not full life. Yeah.
Life is not too short. Life is long as you know
How to fill it up.
how to feel. Is that the saying? I think it was a Stoic saying that you've used before.
No, it's not the saying from the Stoic, but Cam would know because I think it was in
Page
March
20.
the 3rd page 4.
No, life's not too short if you live it
Life
the
is
right
long
way.
if you live it the right way.
Just fill it up with the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't let it be filled with empty void. Don't fill it up with bad deeds. I'm not saying we have to go out there and be the right person, but aim to do things right. Not necessarily to be the right person. Do things right,
But
not
live
just
life,
do it the right way. Yeah.
Live life.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Give everything a shot. Risk copping a black eye.
All right, what else have you got? Because for me, the
24.
most important. Okay, you're 24, right? Let's go.
Only because I'm going to maybe annoy a lot of people here, but I think luck is one of the worst words in the English dictionary. I hate hearing it. 24 is all about you make your own luck. You didn't get lucky. If you got something in life, good or bad, you earned it.
I'll tell you a true story about that.
And I reckon it's a shit word losers use. If in our work, if you miss a listing or something, that was unlucky.
You weren't
I
good
think
enough.
it's a shit thing that we do as leaders sometimes to our staff to make them feel better. Oh, bad luck, mate. In our office, we've got a rule: if someone's leaving for an appointment or anything that can increase a result, you're not allowed to say good luck to them. You got to say send it. You got to say do your best. You got to say anything but good luck.
Go list it. Yeah.
That's coming from a guy who people tell me I've only got what I've got and you're lucky. Mate, I've worked really hard for what I've got and there was no luck in it. Yes, things fell in my favour because of the work I was doing and the things I got. I hate the word luck. Yes, you might have got to the top of the sports tree because your father knew someone who knew someone, but you still had to be bloody good at what you do.
That's right.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. Stephen Bradbury points out he's famous for everyone falling over in front of him to win a gold medal. One, he had to make it to the final, and no one saw the hours and hours and hours of hard work it took him to even make it to the Olympics, to be in a position where everyone could fall over in front of him and he could win Australia's first.
To be that
ever
lucky,
gold.
I had to do all the work. Exactly right.
Yeah, I hate that word.
Years ago, before I started real estate, I was in the building industry. Bosses come in and said, I'm closing the company down. At that time, I was selling a house with my current employer. So I rang Rob, said, what's involved in real estate? He goes, why? I said, I'm after career change. He goes, come in for an interview. I've been working for Rob now for almost 12 years. My sister says, I'm lucky. I said, I'm lucky, but I picked the phone up and I made the phone call. So create your own luck.
Yeah.
Simple.
All right. What else have you guys
I'm
got?
at 26. Is anyone at...
Yeah, well, listen, I
26.
think there's a lot of repetition in many of these pages.
Oh, 26 is
I
just
mean,
important.
even 25, to me, the first line is huge. Joy for human beings lies in proper human work. When you start doing act of kindness and really focus on people, that's where you get proper joy. I mean, I have to say, I'm so fortunate because my passion is people. To see people and see what I can do with them. How I'm not Michelangelo, I can't sculpt them, but I can, in a certain way, do because I can see what they can become if they can work on certain aspects of their life and what their life can really become and what they be receiving. That to me is fantastic, and I think that's where you find joy. I was telling someone the last 20 years I've been doing recruit training every single time. And loving it every single time. Because I don't see it, oh man, another 3 days having to take brand new, he's got no ideas about sales. No, I go, these people are unique individuals. What's the beauty in them? What is it that they're good at? What is it that they have that I don't have? What can I learn from them? And so for me, it's almost 3 days hunting for treasure, driven by the passion for people.
I defy anyone, and even the people we were talking about before with zero empathy, to say that they don't feel better after they've done the right thing by somebody or for somebody or helped somebody. We sell houses every day of the week, and still the greatest joy you get is when you sell a house for someone who's in a tricky predicament and you've actually made a change in that person's life. There's a reason people dedicate their whole life to charities and giving, and things like that. There's an excellent book called The Go-Giver, which I've encouraged my staff to read because it's talking about the more you give, the more eventually successful you'll be. And I've spoken about the client care in our office and how I want it to go to a whole other level. And I've said to the guys, like, you come to work sometimes, and we all do it, going, oh, shit, I've got to go to work today. What if you spent the whole day helping people, like actually helping people? How full would your cup be and how stoked would you be with your job? And then the added bonus to that, because you're doing it that way, you're going to make a lot of money, which shouldn't be the driving factor. But imagine spending all day actually helping people. Like to TL's point, I've been in some of the recruit courses, and because I'm not on his level about my passion isn't people as much as it is his, I leave that course drained as, tired as, buggered. The man here, he's on top of the world because he spent his whole day helping people.
Yep.
What could be better in
hunting for treasure? I found a treasure, therefore how can you not celebrate or feel good?
It gives you fulfillment. I remember when we were doing the Wisebury charity, the foundation.
Yeah.
We had some fantastic causes that we were trying to raise money for. So to give you our time up for that was actually an honour. It wasn't a necessity. It was an honour. It's amazing.
Anything else, boys?
I've got it. Yeah, 26. It should be a no-brainer, but it isn't a no-brainer for a lot of people. All this month has been talking about action, and a lot of the reason a lot of people don't take action is because they're worried about what people think of them, and they run their lives. They write their story based on what other people think and what society thinks. The stupid thing is they don't pay your bills, those people. They don't sleep next to you every night. They don't wake up and have to look at you in the mirror every day. You know, we talk about finding out what you want and being that person, but a lot of people let the fear of what other people think stop them. And there's a line that I can't remember the book I read it in, but it says, what you think of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter, actually, in the real scheme of things, it really doesn't matter what you two think of me. All right? I've got to be happy with the person that I see in the mirror, and I've got to live my life accordingly. And that's the hardest one to get across for everyone, but especially the younger generation coming through. Like, why are you doing that? Well, why are you not doing that? Because you're worried about what the popular might say, and it's a scourge on society that what people might think of your thing, and social media doesn't help that at all.
That's why we keep on telling the truth about you, because we know it won't hurt you.
I know exactly what you're saying.
What else have you got?
The next one I got 28th. Oh, anyone pull up the 28th?
Yeah.
Two things before acting, and this is actually very good. It says about getting upset about things, and it comes back to that chain reaction about, you said, the chain action or the 30 days to try and control your temper.
Yeah.
It says don't get upset and do the right thing. That's it. It's the only two things you got to worry about. Don't get upset, do the right thing. Very simple. The first two things before acting. I thought that was very simple. And again, one of the only months that they've actually given you actions to use. Well, they tell you what to do, but an actual usable sort of analogy. So I like that one.
I had the 30th, and it sort of ties into the 26th about what people think you, and it's why you're doing the things you're doing. What is the real reason that you're doing the things that you do? Are you really doing it for yourself, or are you doing it for other people? And a bit of a confession, I used to, every time I read a book, instead of reading the book, I'd stop after a couple of pages and take a photo of it and put it on Instagram, because I wanted everyone to know that I was reading a lot of books.
Oh, wow.
And you have to sit and think, well, why am I actually reading these books because I want to, or I'm going to learn from them, or actually reading the book so I can do a social media post about reading books? I don't do that anymore. I just stopped reading books. But it's a thing that, again, you've got to sleep at night, and the inner guilt will get you if it doesn't. But because then you do it, you put a photo on Instagram, and then you might be reading the next few pages, but you're checking your phone every 4 seconds to see who's liked it and who's, and that's why are you actually doing the things you're doing? Are you doing it for the right reason? Are you doing it for reasons beyond your control, which is to make people like you, or to prove yourself to people that don't matter because they don't pay your bills? So I think a lot of people do a lot of things. The reason every real estate agent has to drive around in a fancy car is because people won't look at you as a real estate agent unless you're driving around in a fancy car. Why are you actually doing it? There was a bit of that, and the reason I bought the Lexus. There's a bit of reason. And then 31, I guess, just wraps it all up, which is be a good person. That's all I've written.
And that's the thing. We have but one obligation.
You got one job.
to be a good person.
You got one job. Just be a good human. It's just as easy as being a shitbag. It really is. It's really
It's actually
easy.
not as much work as being a
No,
shitbag.
because then you can sleep at night.
That was a good month. I thought there was a lot to digest, a lot to think about. And if anything, this month of May really got me to reevaluate, really, all right, all these things that I've been doing, have I been doing it for the right reason?
Why we're doing them.
You know? And I think that was a question I had constantly over the pages. Am I doing for that? Or am I doing for what society expects of me? And I think that when you can truly answer that to yourself, that you're doing it for yourself, because there is only one thing that you need to race for, which is to become the best you can be, to chase the best version of yourself. I think that that is the ultimate.
Awesome.
All right, boys. Thanks
done,
very
boys.
much. But
Thanks.
the Wildflower, what do you reckon? What do you reckon?
I
You
didn't
stop
mind
at you stop at one,
No.
so you didn't like it.
No.
You loved it. Well, yeah, I
honestly
understand
didn't
it
mind
was your bottle.
No, but I don't expect it to win or come even close.
I think it was a very good flower. I think Wildflower is a very nice flower.
Should be left on the bush.
You seriously didn't
Talk
like
to
it?
talk
No, I
to you,
wasn't a
boys.
fan.
See you later.
See you guys.
Peace.